Year 3s. This week I'm going to read you a story, and I've chosen a story from the Horrid Henry's book. It's a book, this one is called Horrid Henry and the Zombie Vampire, and like every Horrid Henry story, it's written by Francesca Simon and illustrated by Tony Ross. There's a few pictures that I will show you, and it's from the collection Orion, you can see here. I'm not going to read the zombie vampire story, maybe another day, I don't know. But today I'm not going to read this one. I'm going to read another one called Horrid Henry and the Nudie Foodie. And it's, I've chosen this one because it's set inside the school, and it's really, really funny. And I personally really miss the school, and I'm sure you miss the school as well. So I've chosen this one. So, Horrid Henry and the Nudie Foodie. "Children, I have some thrilling news," bubbled Mrs. Oddbod. Horrid Henry groaned. His idea of thrilling news and Mrs. Oddbod's idea of thrilling news were not the same. Thrilling news would be Mutant Max replacing Mrs. Oddbod as head. Thrilling news would be Miss Battleaxe being whisked off to ancient Rome to be a gladiator. Thrilling news would be Moody Margaret dumped in a swamp and Perfect Peter sent to prison. Thrilling news wasn't new coat hooks and who was in the Good as Gold book. But wait, what was Mrs. Oddbod saying? "Our school has been chosen to be a healthy eating school. Our new healthy and nutritious school meals will be an example for schools everywhere." Horrid Henry sat up. "What? Healthy eating? Oh no!" Henry knew what grown-ups meant by healthy food. Celery, beetroot, aubergine towers. Anything that tasted yucky and looked revolting was bound to be good for him. Anything that tasted yummy was bound to be bad. Henry had plenty of healthy eating at home. Was nowhere safe. "And guess who's going to help make our school a beacon of healthy eating?" babbled Mrs. Oddbod. "Only the world-famous chef, Mr. Nudie Foodie." Woodrowf snorted. "Nudie," he jeered. "Mr. Nudie Foodie?" thought Horrid Henry. What kind of stupid name was that? Were there really parents out there whose name was Foodie, who decided that the perfect name for their son was Nudie? "And here he is in person," proclaimed Mrs. Oddbod. The children clapped as a shaggy-haired man wearing a red-checked apron and a chef's hat bounced to the front of the auditorium. "From today, your school will be the place for delicious, nutritious food," he beamed. "I'm not nude, it's my food that's nude. My delicious, humalicious grub is just plain scrummy." Horrid Henry couldn't believe his ears. Just plain, delicious food? Why, that was exactly what Horrid Henry loved. Plain burgers, plain pizzas, just with cheese and nothing else. No snacky, flabby pieces of aubergine or grizzly chunks of red pepper ruining the topping. Plain chips slathered in ketchup. No funny bits, no strange green stuff. There, 3 cheese to more burgers, more chips and more pizza. Horrid Henry could see it now. Obviously, he'd be asked to create the yummy new school menu of plain, delicious food. Monday, crisps, chips, ice cream, cake, burgers. Tuesday, burgers, chips, crisps, chocolate. Wednesday, pizza, chips, crisps, ice cream. Thursday, chocolate cake. Friday, burger, pizza, chips, crisps, cake and ice cream. After all, it was the end of the week and nice to celebrate. Oh, and fizzy-whiz drinks every day and chocolate milk. There, a lovely, healthy, plain, nutritious and delicious menu that everyone would love. Because let's face it, at the moment, school dinner were horrid. They only served burgers and chips once a week, thought Horrid Henry indignantly. Well, he'd soon sort that out. In fact, maybe he should be a famous chef when he got older. Chef Henry, the Burger Wizard. Happy Henry, Hamburger Hero. He would open a chain of famous restaurants called Henry's, where the eaten can't be beaten. Well, he'd have to improve the name while collecting his millions every week from the restaurant tills as happy customers fought their way inside for the chance to chow down one of Happy Henry's fantastic burgers. Kids everywhere would beg to eat there, safe in the knowledge that no vegetables would ever contaminate their food. Henry sighed. Mr. Nudie was leaping up and down with excitement. And you're all going to help me make the delicious food that will be a joy to eat. Remember, just like the word to my hit song, it's not rude to be a dude who loves nude food. Yee-haw. Well, Nudie, said Mrs. Oddbod. Mr. Foodie. Just call me Mr. Nudie Foodie, said Mr. Nudie Foodie. Now, who wants to be a nudie foodie and join me in the kitchen to make lunch today? Me, shouted Perfect Peter. Me, shouted Clever Claire. I want to be a nudie foodie, said Jolly Josh. I want to be a nudie foodie, said Tidy Ted. I want to be a nudie foodie, yelled Greedy Graham. I think. A healthy school is a happy school, said Mr. Nudie Foodie, beaming. My motto is only bad food booze when you choose yummy food, and at lunchtime today, all your parents will be coming to the cafeteria to sample our scrumptious, humalicious, fabulous, and irresistible new food. Ole! Horrid Henry looked round the school kitchen. He'd never seen so many pots and pans and vats and cauldrons. So this was where the school glop was made. Well, not any longer. Would they be making giant Whopper burgers in the huge frying pan, or vats and vats of chips in the huge pots? Maybe they'd make pizzas for the gigantic ovens. The Nudie Foodie stood before Henry's class. This is so exciting, he said, bouncing up and down. Everyone ready to make some delicious food? Yeah, bellowed Henry's class. Right then, let's get cooking, said Mr. Nudie Foodie. Horrid Henry stood in front of a chopping board with Whippy William, Dizzy Dave, and Fiery Fiona. Fiery Fiona shoved Henry. Stop hogging the chopping board, she hissed. Horrid Henry shoved her back, knocking the lumpy bag of ingredients onto the floor. Stop hogging it yourself, he hissed back. Wah! Wailed Whippy William. Henry pushed me. Wait, what was rolling all over the floor? It looked like it couldn't be. Group 1, here is how to slice a yummy green pepper, beamed Mr. Nudie Foodie. And Group 2, you're in charge of the tomatoes. Group 3, you make the broccoli salad. Group 4 will look after the mushrooms. Green tomato? Green pepper? Tomatoes? Broccoli? Mushroom? What was this mock? It's my yummy, scrummy, super secret veggie-tastic pasta sauce, said Mr. Nudie Foodie. What? What a dirty, rotten trick! Where were the chips? Where were the burgers? And then suddenly, Horrid Henry understood Mr. Nudie Foodie's evil plan. He was going to sneak vegetables onto the school menu. Not just a single vegetable, but loads and loads and loads of vegetables. Enough evil vegetables to kill someone 100 times over. Boy impaled by killer carrot. Girl chokes to death on deadly broccoli. Boy gags on toxic tomato. Henry could see the headlines now. They'd find him dead in the lunchroom, poisoned by vegetables, his limbs twisted in agony. Well, no way. No way was this foul fiend going to trick Henry into eating vegetables. Everyone chopped and stirred and mixed. The evil brew hissed and bubbled. Horrid Henry had never felt so cheated in his life. Finally, the bell rang. Mr. Nudie Foodie stood by the exit with an enormous black bean bag. Before you leave, I want you to open your lunch boxes and dump all your junk food in here. No need for that stuff today. Huh? Said rude Ralph. No, wailed Greedy Graham. Yes, said Mr. Nudie Foodie. You'll thank me later. Horrid Henry gasped in horror as everyone threw their yummy snacks into the bag as they filed out of the kitchen and ran out for playtime. For once, Henry was glad his mean, horrible parents never packed anything good in his lunchbox. Were there no end to that evil man's plots? Thought Horrid Henry, stomping past Mr. Nudie Foodie into the hall. First, vegetable pasta sauce, then stealing everyone's sweets. What a waste! All those treats going straight into the bin. Rescue us, Henry! Squealed the chocolate and crisps trapped inside the bin bag. Help! Horrid Henry didn't need to be asked twice. He crept down the hall and darted back into the school kitchen. Sweets, here I come, thought Horrid Henry. The kitchen was empty. Huge vats of vegetable sauce sat ready to be poured onto pasta. What horrors would Mr. Nudie-Foodie try to sneak on the menu tomorrow? And the next day, and the next day. Just wait until the parents discovered the sauce was made of vegetables. They'd make the children eat this swill every day. Ah! And then suddenly, Horrid Henry knew what he had to do. He looked longingly at the enormous black bean bag bulging with crisps and chocolate and yummy snacks. Horrid Henry gritted his teeth. Sometimes you had to think ahead. Sometimes you couldn't be distracted, not even by donuts. There wasn't a moment to lose. Any second, a teacher or dinner lady could come in and foil him. He had to seize this chance to stop Mr. Nudie-Foodie once and for all. Grabbing whatever was nearest, Horrid Henry emptied a tin of salt into the first vat of sauce. Into the second went a tin of mustard powder. Into the third went a bottle of vinegar. Into the fourth and final one, Henry looked at the gurgling, bubbling, poisonous, reeking, rancid, toxic sauce. Take that, Nudie-Foodie, thought Horrid Henry, reaching for a tub of lard. What are you doing, Henry? Rasped a deadly voice. Henry froze. Just looking for my lunchbox, he said, pretending to search behind the cooking pots. Miss Batterlack snarled, flashing her yellow brick teeth. She pointed to the door. Horrid Henry ran out. Whew! What a lucky escape! Shame he hadn't completed his mission, but 3 vats out of 4 wasn't bad. Anyway, the 4th pot was sure to be disgusting, even without extra dollops of lard. You're dead meat, Mr. Nudie-Foodie, thought Horrid Henry. Parents, children, prepare yourselves for a taste of sensation, said Mr. Nudie-Foodie, ladling out pasta and sauce. Lazy Linda's mother took a big forkful. Doesn't this look yummy? She said. It's about time this school served proper food, said moody Margaret's mum, shoveling an enormous spoonful into her mouth. I couldn't agree more, said Tidy Ted's dad, scooping up pasta. Blah! Spluttered Margaret's mother, spitting it out all over aerobic Al's dad. Her face was purple. That's disgusting! My Maggie Moo Moo wouldn't want to be touching a drop of that. What are you trying to do, poison people? Screamed aerobic Al's dad. His face was green. I'm not eating this muck, shouted Clever Claire's mom. And Claire certainly isn't. But, gasped Mr. Nudie-Foodie. This sauce is my specialty. It's delicious. He took a mouthful. Ah, he said, spraying it all over Mrs. Oddbod. It is disgusting. Wow, thought Horrid Henry. Wow, could the sauce really be so bad? He had to try it. Would he get the salty, the mustardy, the vinegary, or just the plain disgusting vegetable? Horrid Henry picked up a tiny forkful of pasta and put it in his mouth and swallowed. He was still breathing. He was still alive. Everyone at his table was slurping up the food and beaming. Everyone at the other tables was coughing and choking and spitting. Horrid Henry took another teeny tiny taste. The sauce was delicious. It was much nicer than the regular glop they served at lunchtime with pasta. It was a million billion times nicer. And he had just. Is this some kind of a joke? Gasped Mrs. Oddbod, gagging. Mr. Nudie-Foodie, you are toast. Leave here at once. Mr. Nudie-Foodie slunk off. No, screamed Horrid Henry. It's yummy. Don't go. Everyone stared at Horrid Henry. Weird, said Rude Ralph. And that is the end of this story. That was Horrid Henry and the Nudie-Foodie.